Section 103 listeners, welcome back. We most definitely did not take a week off last week. Okay, maybe we did, but we brought back a new guest. Not brought back, I guess he's just a brand new guest. We are joined by Jetson. He is an avid WWE fan. What is going on?
Hello. I'm so excited to be here, man. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
I will say that this started literally yesterday. Like, hey, you busy tonight? The Section 103 podcast, when Peyton and I came up with it, we're like, if we ever have a guest on, we're going to give them like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe like a month to prepare a show. They'll tell us to watch a show, and then we'll just kind of go over it. Jetson over there got the whole "you up" equivalent of a text message for the podcast.
2 weeks ago or something, you mentioned that to me, and so I was thinking Raw 25, and then I got that text last week or last night, and I was like, holy shit. All right, let's do it.
I'm like, dude, I already watched it. What do you mean? Let's go. Time for Raw 25. Peyton, what is going on in your world, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good here. I came prepared. Saturday night main event from the event in Utah last month.
Yes, sir.
To go. Definitely didn't wear this. Right now we're doing good. How is everybody here? Oh shit,
we're
Cena.
We're representing Cena. We're representing the World Series.
All right.
Nice. For the new listeners here, the Section 103 podcast is a podcast that celebrates the past, present, and sometimes the future of professional wrestling. If you are tuning into this episode as your first episode, we are covering the man that is the past and the present and will have an impact on the future of wrestling. That is Mr. John Cena himself. And just to always kick off the podcast, I'm going to throw it over to Peyton because he's going to cover the week in wrestling for the week of, as I open my calendar here, Sunday, December 7th to Saturday, December 13th.
Yes. Right quick, I do want to mention this will matter for NXT. Obviously, we did not do anything last week, but NXT deadline did occur.
We have.
So all we had, Obafemi defeated Ricky Saints, so he's the NXT champion now, and then Kendall Gray and Javon Evans are your Iron Survivor. That's all you need to know. And Tony D'Angelo returned too, which is cool. But we're going to kick it off with Monday Night Raw. So what went down on Raw here, kind of not a lot. Gunther had a hell of a good promo setting up the match with John Cena. He was basically just like, I'm going to make the man who never gives up, give up. That's kind of the whole theme, the whole point of the match. Io Sky defeated Kairi Sane. Rey Mysterio was beat up by a masked man. We didn't know who it was at the time. Logan Paul then hit Rey Mysterio with brass knuckles. LA Knight appeared and was like, hey, let's have a match. You can't be doing that. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defeated the War Raiders to retain the World Tag Team Championships. And then the New Day and the Usos are coming out as the next contenders. Raquel Rodriguez beat up Nikki Bella, and that set up a match with Stephanie McCurr for the following week. Roxanne Perez defeated Lyra Valkyria. And then in the main event, Logan Paul defeated LA Knight with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker riding LA Knight off for however long. I don't think he's like leaving the company or anything like that. I think he's still got a little bit left on his deal, but fellas, Raw.
Yeah, actually with you going through it, because I haven't thought about this episode since it aired, Raw was actually not terrible. There is definitely a few wins here. I really do enjoy when you look back on like wrestlers' promos in hindsight after the pay-per-view that they're promoting happens. Like Gunther told you what he was going to do and he did it, which makes him a very credible heel, which is pretty sick. His reactions post Cena retirement have been really nice. I've been enjoying them. So yeah, it was a really strong episode of Raw from like the go home to what is usually known as like a B or C type show, being Saturday night's main event. This being the exception, of course, being Cena's final pay-per-view ever. Something I read on Twitter that was really funny was they thought that Nikki Bella was getting squashed, and I think that people have been like not just maybe like living under a rock, but Nikki Bella has went on record so many times saying that she just wants to help elevate the future. So for Raquel to kind of like get a one up on Nikki, Nikki had no problem doing that. Hell, Nikki probably like in the right writer's room, whether it was an AI prompt or whether it was just Nikki Bell in the writer's room, she probably wanted it. Like, she was just like, you know what? Raquel's going to be here for a lot longer than I'm going to be in this run. So, like, definitely give it to her. Roxanne Perez, always been one of my favorites. Definitely a top 3 in the female division for me. And then LA Knight coming back at the Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble in a month and a half from now. Perfect way to write him off, because the WrestleMania tagline for Vegas is that it's anyone's game. So who better is game to be than LA Knight? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Boucher?
I only saw Gunther's opening segment, but I thought it was great. I think he's the best heel in the entire industry right now. I think with how Cena's match went and how he tapped him out, I think Gunther has a lot of momentum right now. And quite honestly, I think he's my pick to win the Royal Rumble too.
Okay.
I'd say. But I thought his segment was amazing. I thought it was so good.
I think that the Royal Rumble season, especially every single year, like there's a lot of hit or miss Royal Rumbles, like this year being like probably our last all-star Royal Rumble we will ever get. But like there's so many potential winners, whether it's a Gunther, an LA Knight, a Sami Zayn. It could really be literally anyone's game when they head over to Saudi. Raw is in Toronto the Monday before Saudi's Rumble. So you already know if Boucher and I go to that Raw in Toronto, we have a really cool go home show. Yes sir. What happened on the Tuesday, Peyton?
Yes, so God, you just got me a little excited for Royal Rumble season. I totally forgot it was in Saudi Arabia. Like, I remember them saying like they had bought the rights or whatever. I thought it was like 27, 28. I did not know it was in a month from now. But regardless, NXT went down on Tuesday, as you mentioned. It opened up with Javon Evans and Oba Femi. They had a promo, and Javon, I guess you could say, cash in his Iron Survivor World Title match for tonight. I will get into why that's a little stupid. But, yeah, so they had a cool little promo. Kalani Jordan defeated Jordan Grace. Thea Hill made Blake Monroe tap. There was like a whole little segment. Oh Jesus! I actually kind of have a lot to say about NXT this week. I'm not gonna lie to you. Shiloh Hill defeated Lexus King in his debut, and then Tony D attacked Ethan Page. Sol Ruka defeated Ren Sinclair. Fatal Influence had a little standoff with Kendall Gray, and they beat her up. And then Oba Femi defeated Javon Evans to retain the NXT World Title with help from Ricky Saints. Before I kick it off to you guys, I do just want to say, with NXT. For one, I do not think it makes a lick of sense to have Javon Evans do that now. In my mind, I think like he's gonna be the one to beat Oba Femi for that title. I think, but I think they could have held off on that a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Two, I saw a lot of people saying like that Thea Hale, Blake Monroe segment was like the worst thing of the year. I didn't really think so. Like, I mean, it wasn't like special or anything like that, but I thought it was fine. Oh my God, I don't know if you guys have seen the Shiloh Hill fucking promos. Don't, if you haven't. I will just let you know. It's like I shit you not. I could have probably done better. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's how like fucking egregious those are. They're worth a watch just to like be like, what the hell. So there's that. And then Kendall Gray, I think she's great. Honestly, would kind of like to see her win the title. Is that gonna happen? I don't think so, but I think that'd be pretty dope. But of course, I'm actually going to reverse the order here and send it to Mr. Jetson. What are you thinking about NXT here?
Honestly, I haven't watched NXT in years, if I'm being honest. Like, last thing I remember being fully invested into it was right before it turned into 2.0 when Vince McMahon took over. Like, I was watching, like, Aleister Black, Adam Cole, like, that era.
The good stuff.
I do really want to get back into it, though, because I remember seeing Oba Femi live in Toronto, and he's amazing. I think he's incredible. I think he's awesome. But I do want to get back into it. But I haven't watched it in so long, if I'm being honest.
He had really good seats at Heat Wave, and I remember texting him, and I was just like, "Dude, watch this next guy that comes out," and it's Obafemi, and oh my god,
So you went into it like you didn't know anything. You just
I didn't know anything. Like,
okay, so you were surprised.
Knew Ethan Page, because I remember watching him when he was just in the Indies before anybody knew who he was, and so I knew he was there. And that was all of the wrestlers I recognized was just Ethan Page.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember losing my mind when he won that match. I was going crazy.
Yeah, it was honestly really, really sick. Touching on Heatwave for a second, I'm just so glad Toronto consistently gets like the, oh, you had to be there shows, because Heatwave is considered one of the best NXT shows of all time from any era. And that was a really good show from top to bottom. Fast forwarding to this episode of NXT, I do definitely share the same sentiment that Javon Evans, like, quote unquote, cashing in his Iron Survivor championship match was definitely a confusing call, to say the least. I don't know if maybe it's because of what's happening the week later, where he's more of a mainstay on like a SmackDown and a Raw, because I think it was Adam Pearce that said, like, I'm impressed with you. You have a match against Ludwig Kaiser next week and this time. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. I do like that Obafemi is the champion again. I think that title suits Obafemi really well. I thought it suited Aleister Black just as well, so I kind of put them in the same category of suitable NXT champions. Undertaker's Discord moderator who won LFG, Silo Hill. Oh god, like his promos, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm forgiving anybody a chance, especially in NXT, because the whole point is to like become your character, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't. But man, the whole like toothless aggression era that I read online, like this guy is going to take a little bit of warming up to me. People said toothless aggression, you have to really calm down because of the guy's name we don't mention from June 2007. Boucher's face says it all. I don't know, like that guy just, he like, okay. So when I was driving home today from work, I said, I consistently say like the neckbeard comment of the week. So I think I need to have like a segment on this podcast where it's just me being a Twitter neckbeard. But like, god damn, does he ever just look like a created character in 2K that you squash in my career? No. Dude, like I do appreciate that, like, the Undertaker sees something in him, so I'm really excited to maybe be proven wrong 2 to 3 years from now. Or like, remember when we were just absolutely dogging on him like 3 years ago, and now he's like main events in WrestleMania against Braun Breaker, but right now he's defeating Lexus King in a debut match, so we're not there yet. Ricky Saints turning heel. I always thought he was a tweener. I never knew he was a full-fledged babyface on NXT. December is usually an odd month for NXT in the years past, because they're so close to the new year, the road to WrestleMania. They're never really a part of the actual road to WrestleMania, I don't think, nowadays, mainly just like the Rumble appearances. I believe Roxanne Perez was a part of the Elimination Chamber this year. Yes. So I don't really think of NXT as anything like a must watch right now. But Obafemi being NXT champion and our Discord moderator beating Lexus King was definitely the highlights of that show.
Yes, goodness gracious, that fucking guy, man. But moving on here, AEW. So I'm gonna, again, kind of like how I did the previous week, combine regular Dynamite and Collision because of the Continental Classic. So this will be a little bit longer, but here's what went down. So Darby Allin, should mention this, he had to forfeit the Continental Classic due to an injury, and Jack Perry replaced him. So yeah, there's that. He's just not in the tournament no more. The Babes of Wrath, which is Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, defeated the Timeless Love Bombs of Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa to become the inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. Getting into some Continental Classic action, Kazuchika Okada defeated Jack Perry for 6 points now. He's at Mark Briscoe had an interview in the ring, which is interrupted by Daniel Garcia. That sets up a match between them on Collision for the TNT title. Adam Page and Swerve Strickland teamed up together to defeat Powerhouse Hobbs and Katsuyori Shibata in a tornado tag match. Don Callis asked the Young Bucks for a money match If you remember on the pay-per-view, they won that $1 million, I think it was. But the Young Bucks are like, no, we're friends with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega agrees to be their third partner, so it's going to be them and 3 members of Don Callis family in a money match there eventually down the line. The Bang Bang Gang, which is now, right now it's Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn, I believe. I think Colton is still out and Jay White is out with injury. They get their tag team title shot in Manchester against FTR. That's going to be a fucking classic. I already know it. This one was a bit of a shocker. Mike Bailey defeated Kyle Fletcher to earn his first 3 points of the tournament. And then in the main event of Dynamite, winners coming, Samoa Joe defeated Eddie Kingston to retain the AEW Men's World title. But Collision as well, I'll include that in here. Swerve Strickland defeated Josh Alexander. Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter defeated the Sisters of Sin, which this team was Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Konosuke Takeshita and Claudio Castagnoli both ended in a time limit draw there, so they both have 7 points in the Blue League. The Babes of Wrath had a little tag title celebration, which ended in an interference from Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. It was a whole little fun thing. They're setting up the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale. MJF will probably return, as you can imagine. But so far, the names in there is Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, Anthony Bowens, Matt Caster, Brody King, and Mark Davis are all confirmed for that. And then another Mike Bailey one. I don't quite understand how they're like structuring like who is wrestling on what show for the tournament because it's not like every match. But he was back and he earns another 3 points, defeating Kevin Knight. And then in the main event of Collision, Mark Briscoe defeated Daniel Garcia to retain the TNT Championship. One last thing before I kick it off to you guys for your thoughts. I want to go over the updated Continental Classic tournament standings as of right now, just because it is a little confusing with how they're doing it. So, Mike Bailey, Kyle Fletcher, and Kazuchika Okada all have 6 points. They're at the top of the Gold League. Pac and Kevin Knight have 3, and then Jack Perry has 0. And then in the Blue League, Konosuke Takeshita and Claudio Castagnoli are at the top with 7. John Moxley, Mascara Dorada, and Orange Cassidy have 3 points, and my boy Roderick Strong with a 0, unfortunately. As for me, I thought it was good. I enjoy the Continental Classic. Very surprised that Claudio's at the top. I think they are probably definitely building that turn eventually. On Moxley for sure, and I hope Takeshita. My ideal scenario here, I know it'll probably be Takeshita and Okada, which will be great. I have no doubt about that. But part of me would really like to see Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher in the finals. I think that would be way neat. But I'm gonna kick this over to Matt this time here. What are you thinking about Dynamite? Are you enjoying the Continental Classic so far? What are we thinking?
Man, I'm just really loving how AEW doesn't like stick to a structure. Like they have no problem being very like experimental. I absolutely love it. Like for example, who would have thought that oh my god, my name's already blank. Mike Bailey gets a win over Kyle Fletcher. Like
yes.
that was incredible. A big shout out here that wasn't mentioned because it was after Dynamite went off the air was Daniel Bryan's promo with Eddie Kingston. Yes. That was something, man. That I had fucking goosebumps in the break room at work. I was like, I remember when Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson was calling this guy the king of the bums, and that Eddie Kingston's a bum, and now he's glazing him in an arena full of 6,000 people. I thought that was just hella fucking cool. It's really neat how people really anticipated that Swerve Strickland and Hangman were going to just be a tag team for the foreseeable future, never really button heads. But now they're in a triple threat with Samoa Joe at World's End, which is pretty fucking sick. And then, I also read something that really hurt my feelings because I'm a big Daniel Garcia guy. I'm talking way too fast for this podcast. That people are just bored of Daniel Garcia. I think that guy's the fucking future, man. I think he's right up there with Kyle Fletcher. I think Daniel Garcia just has he already has so much shit on his resume that's very impressive. But that man, I love Daniel Garcia. In the right call for the tag champs. I'm so excited that the Babes of Wrath won the tag titles. I think the easy call there would have been Tony and Mina, but just to have an actual tag team that formed out of pure love, chemistry, and love from the crowd was definitely the right call. Jack Perry being added into the tournament was kind of just like the I guess so. I guess so throw. And I know Boucher is going to mention it over there. Josh Alexander being in AEW just makes him and I so happy. So I'm throwing it over to him.
So I haven't watched AEW in forever as well. Sorry. But like you said, like, because I just remember I keep seeing like clips or people online saying how like it's just a spot fest or how there's just botchamanias all over the place, you know, just botch after botch. But like you said, like, what was it? The Bane Gain is what they're called?
Yes.
Interesting name. Very interesting. But yeah, like, I do want to get into that as well because of Josh Alexander. Like Ethan Page, we were watching him in our hometown for like $20. So it's really cool seeing him on that stage. Do wish it was WWE, but that's another conversation. But no, I love Josh Alexander, so I did wish he won that match. Hearing it now, but yeah,
I would love to picture Josh Alexander's presentation in WWE because like Ethan Page is the same character, sort of. But his presentation in WWE seems a lot more like I guess like put together, where I think Josh Alexander will thrive in an AEW because he's kind of like literally the walking weapon. He's your guy you send out to go just cause absolute havoc in the ring. So I think like a year from now when we look back at Josh Alexander, what he's done from December 2025 to December 2026, I hope a TNT championship is under his belt, especially with AEW Dynasty coming to Vancouver in April, part of their Canadian tour. So I'm a big sucker for when they crown a champion in Canada who's Canadian. Shout out Ethan Page. And a quick side note, Roderick Strong being at 0 points is crazy.
I know. Very crazy. Guys, I promise, you don't gotta apologize for not watching no wrestling. I understand that this whole thing just makes me look like a fucking geek, but what else can I do? But no, unfortunately though, it's not all good. We got SmackDown here, per usual.
I'm going to cut you off really quickly. Another thing I had a thought in the car was that if this podcast ever caught the eyes of like, who are some Canadian influencers who could come out to like a WWE show for free, we're never going to get chosen because every time we go to talk about SmackDown, we're just like, oh, here we go.
That's the one. Yep, that's the one that breaks the ice for them. We can just cut it off at Raw and, put it there. But yeah, no. Actually, though, I will say it started off kind of strong. Obafemi and Cody Rhodes had a little promo battle ahead of Saturday night's main event, which will be the show we're covering this week. We're not doing like an older show. I came a little prepared from when I went to the show last month. He's got Cena. We're prepared too. But yeah, no, they had a little promo just building up. Really great stuff. Oba, I mean, what can you say that hasn't been said? The dude's a fucking killer. He's the guy. But then we had another Ilya Dragunov U.S. title match defeating Tommaso Ciampa. It was great. Ciampa, Candice LeRae, and Gargano were, about to tag Dragunov, whatever. My man Carmelo Hayes comes out for the save. I hope that it leads to him taking the title, but that's wishful thinking. But you never know. Solo Sikoa said that the MFT will take the tag titles from the Wyatts. God, I really hope so. No disrespect to the Wyatts. I'm about done with that. I missed the tag division from like March, April time, like when they were having the ladder matches and shit. Like that was awesome. But Lash Legend was on the show. She defeated Alexa Bliss. I don't know if she's like fully called up yet. It kind of seems like it. Kind of the same with Javon Evans here, as he also defeated The Miz on this show. Jade Cargill broke through Michin's kendo attack. I don't know. I love Jade Cargill though, and I like Michin a great deal. So they're on the show, which is good. And then the main event was Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley defeating Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. I don't know if we got thoughts here, but whichever one of you wants to go on this one, go for it.
I'm sending it over to Jetson.
Yeah, okay, so...
He's going to say, I actually don't watch SmackDown.
I actually... Listen, I had zero thoughts about SmackDown. Like, it was completely emptied on my mind until you started listing everything off. And I was like, oh, okay, I actually have something to talk about for once. Like, that's awesome. So, the U.S. Championship match, I thought it was amazing. I've never fully watched Dragunov's matches before because, like, I just couldn't get into his matches and everything. But when Ciampa was his opponent, like, I had to watch it because I love Ciampa so much. The guy's like a fucking star, man. Like, he was so good in that match. Like, I was like mind blown by how good he was. So he's definitely going to be someone I'm going to be watching for the future. Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, I don't care. I don't care about those two anymore. It's just the whole rivalry, in my opinion, with Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I like Aleister Black as a babyface, but that's probably because I've only from NXT, right?
Yeah.
What else was there? Jade Cargill, crazy. Wow.
Crazy.
What else was there? What else happened on SmackDown? Did you say? Like, what was the opening segment?
We had an Oba Femi and Cody Rhodes promo.
Yes, so I've only really seen him from Saturday Night's Main Event and from when we went to see NXT, but I think he's going to have a very bright future on the main roster, hopefully. But I think he's awesome. His mic skills are definitely coming along a lot better now, I'd say, and he's getting more grounded with the mic, I'd say. You know what I mean?
Especially in front of bigger crowds. I agree. Like, it was really cool when we get into Saturday Night's Main Event. Like, the crowd knew who he was. The crowd knew the reaction to his chants.
Awesome.
They
knew the chant. I thought that was awesome.
That's always something I look out for. On this episode of SmackDown, what I looked out for was something to talk about. And there's actually a few things to talk about on this show. Again, Ilya Dragunov, he takes on all of his matches like it's the WrestleMania main event on night 2. He is carrying along that John Cena, Sami Zayn tradition where it's the Workhorse Championship. It's the match you buy your ticket to Friday Night SmackDown for. Really cool that Tommaso Ciampa finally got his U.S. title match because they've been teasing it over the past few weeks with the open challenges. Carmelo Hayes getting that stupid 6'7" meme over to finally become popular with the crowd. Whatever it takes, man. You know what? We needed it. I was gonna say whatever it takes for Carmelo to finally just be in like the crew with the crowd. I will take. Just please no more 6'7s. Solo Sikoa and the MFTs and the Wyatts. I don't tune in for any one of those ones. I can't tell you the last time I said, wow, I'm so happy Solo Sikoa is on my TV. The Wyatts, another one. Lash Legend, I do believe is called up. I really do enjoy Lash Legend. I really like how she's paired with Nia Jax, as we talked about last time. The Miz is just your yes guy, and I mean that in literally the best way ever. The Miz just legitimately can do anything. He takes any match, any promo, and he's like, I'm going to make this work, and he always does. I think The Miz right now, people are not really appreciating him until he retires, and it's like, fuck, we need a Miz. We need a Miz. And I'm so glad.
If I may add on to that, actually, because I've said countless times that The Miz needs to be treated better. Like, The Miz has always been my all-time guy. Like, for like the entire time like he's been in WWE, he's always been my like number one favorite. But the thing that I've kind of gone like that I kind of accepted that he's always the yes guy, that he's kind of the guy that pushes the younger wrestlers, the newer ones, to give them that spotlight, which I think is great. But I do think like they need to do something with him, man. They need to do something with The Miz soon. Give him another IC run, man. Like, come on.
I think the last time people really pushed for The Miz was Survivor Series. What was it, 2023 when he fought Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship in Chicago. I think that's the exact show, and people were really like, wow, this might be the guy to do it. I would appreciate a really nice Miz run in 2026, whether it's with the title, whether it's just a really important storyline. I think it'd be really awesome. And then the main event, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley defeating Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Neckbeard comment of this show, I really think Aleister Black and Zelina Vega needed that win to solidify their recent on-screen pairing, but it doesn't look like the rivalry is over just yet. But man, that was Friday Night SmackDown.
I'm telling you, please don't feel bad that you don't watch every week. This is what I do to myself watching SmackDown. I will say though, I fuck with Solo Sikoa. He's my guy. The MFT, I probably shouldn't like him. I understand that they're maybe not the most exciting, but Solo's got a soft spot in my heart, as does God and all them. But anyways, moving on to my neckbeard section, my Japanese wrestling here. It was quite a week, actually. I'm not gonna lie to you. So we did have the World Tag League finals. The past few weeks we've been covering the World Tag League. I will get into that. This whole show is built on it. The opener was El Phantasmo defeating. He had an open challenge, and Hartley Jackson of TMDK. He defeated him to retain the New Japan TV Championship. That match is on YouTube for free if you want to tune into that sometime there. And there was various trios and multi-man tags, as it is with New Japan shows typically. David Finlay and Hiromu Takahashi defeated Great-O-Khan and Callum Newman. That kind of sets up Newman, who's now the leader of United Empire. That was Will Ospreay's faction in New Japan. I guess he's like the de facto kind of leader. He wants a 5-on-5 faction match at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm going to cover the Wrestle Kingdom card. I don't think they're going to add anything within the next week. Wrestle Kingdom is in 2 weeks from now, I believe, if this is all lining up right. But I'll still cover it just, to get a basis on it. This was this was pretty funny. So you had the never openweight 6-man champions, which was Master Wato, Yo, and Toru Yano. They defeated Evil, Ren Narita, and Sonata twice. The first time around, the first match lasted like a minute. House of Torture, which is Evil, Narita, and Sonata. I love Sonata, as we know. They took out the ref, and they're doing their House of Torture antics. Yoshinobu Tanemaru was the referee, apparently, and Sho was the ring announcer. I thought it was quite funny. But then they restarted the match with an actual ref, and the good guys won in the end, retaining the 6-man titles. But the main event, of course, was the final of the World Tag League, and the winners I wasn't expecting, but I'm honestly quite happy. Zack Sabre Jr. and Ryohei Oiwa defeated Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd to win the World Tag League. They're gonna do it a little differently though. Normally the winner, they'd have this match at Wrestle Kingdom. But their whole thing is they in their little post-match segment, they were like, we want to show a future of New Japan without Tanahashi. So we're going to kick it off at New Year's Dash, which is the first show post-Wrestle Kingdom. And they're just going to do it then. So they will challenge the Knockout Bros, who are the current IWGP Tag Team Champions. For a fun little fact here, Zack Sabre Jr. is the third wrestler behind Tetsuya Naito and Hiroki Goto to have won the World Tag League, New Japan Cup, and the G1 Climax, as they are all branded. Shinsuke Nakamura and Yuji Nagata have won it when it was the G1 Tag League, not the World Tag League. Does that make a difference? Not really. It's about the same. But I do also quickly here want to go over the Wrestle Kingdom 20 match card. Weirdly enough, it is only 7 matches, which is kind of a little unheard of for Wrestle Kingdom. They're usually a lot more. It's kind of an interesting show, honestly, from top to bottom. But I'm going to read it off anyways here. So, the first match is going to be a never openweight 6-man tag team title rumble, kind of replacing the New Japan Rumble of years previous. The teams are going to be determined, but the champions that I mentioned earlier are obviously going to be there. The IWGP Women's Championship which is Shiri, versus Seiya Kamatani, which is the Strong Women's Championship holder in a winner takes all. I'm very much looking forward to that. That's actually my most anticipated match of the show. I'll get into Miss Seiya in a second here in Stardom, because some news did break today. I don't usually cover news, but she did something very cool today, so I do want to give her props there. The Bullet Club War Dogs, which is the team of David Finlay, Drilla Moloney, and Gabe Kidd, plus Shingo Takagi and Hiromu Takahashi. That's going to be that 5 there. They're going up against the United Empire, which is Callum Newman, Great Khan, and Hanare, who's coming back from injury, plus 2 more that are going to be determined, probably maybe announced on the show. The 4th match, this one's a little weird, honestly. El Desperado versus Taiji Ishimori versus Sho versus Kosei Fujita in a number 1 contender for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Not for the title. Doki's not wrestling for whatever reason, but that's going to be a contender match for that. The 5th match, Evil, who is the current Never Openweight champion, he's going to defend against the debuting Aaron Wolf. Aaron Wolf, for those not too familiar, he was I believe, Olympian wrestler who signed with New Japan last year. This is his debut. Very curious to see how that goes, honestly. I'm looking forward to that. The 6th match, Konosuke Takeshita in the co-main event. He is the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Will go against Yota Tsuji, who is the IWGP Global Heavyweight title, in a winner-takes-all. They love their winner-takes-all. Like, all the Japanese and Joshi promotions, they love winner-takes-all. Like, if you look at all the New Year's cards, it's so many, and I'm like, I don't know why. But regardless, that's happening. We have 2 of those matches here. Tsuji, of course, won the G1. But our main event, as probably everybody expected, Kazuchika Okada will face off against Hiroshi Tanahashi for Tanahashi's final match. That was a lot of New Japan there. But my question, I guess, for you guys, I'm not too familiar with how you guys are. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Japanese wrestling as a whole, specifically New Japan here. So I kind of want to word this in a way. Are you excited for Wrestle Kingdom 20? Obviously, the big build is Tanahashi's last match. It's sold out the show. They sold out the Tokyo Dome. It's 50,000, I want to say. Sold out the entire venue. Tokyo Dome's pretty massive. They had to get standing seats and all that, and those are still all sold out. So yeah, looking at this, what do we think? Are we interested?
The most attractive. I didn't mean to go let me talk. I had something in my throat. The most attractive thing about this card is it's so short. It is it's only a 7-match card. I think that is beautiful. I think disregard everything I said in the previous 3 sessions where I said I promise I'm going to start watching next week.
This is the one.
Wrestle Kingdom 20 has to be the one. I do really like that it is Tanahashi's send-off is the main event, especially with all the recent John Cena news, of course. I love, and I can't tell you, I absolutely love reading the internet's opinion on if that fucking make-believe rule of the guy who's retiring should lose, the guy who's retiring should win, because it causes such a divide in the wrestling community that you just have to remember that it's scripted. Yeah. So this is another retirement that I cannot wait to divide Twitter, going he should have beat Okada, no, Okada should have beat him, and then it's just going to be that debate that I look forward to, and his match, of course. I'm a big sucker for retirement matches. I think Sting, quick side note, had the perfect retirement match because he went undefeated and retired as the AEW tag champ. Yes. I think that's a retirement done right. I hope it's done right by Tanahashi, because he is a big part of wrestling culture as a whole, not just in New Japan, but just as a whole. I also, not a problem as in it's a bad thing, but I do kind of have words against how matches are always winner takes all, because you kind of book yourself into a corner, because to promote a show, promoting something attractive like a winner takes all championship and such, you really kind of just I don't want to say you make a title pointless, but you really you diminish it, to me anyways. Like there's when you're a double champion, unless there's a plan, unless you're a Mercedes Moné, unless you're Kurt Angle in 2007, like carrying numerous titles just takes away opportunities from others that could be on the card with that title. I'm speaking of my ass because I've never watched New Japan Pro Wrestling, so maybe the story for this makes complete sense. And then I'm excited. I love a good old tag team title rumble. My favorite tag team battle royale was the one in 2007 where Shawn Michaels and John Cena defended the Raw Tag Championships and the Hardy Boys won it. I'm a big fan of tag team Royal Rumbles, so I'll be a big fan of that one. Throwing it over to Boucher, I know that you had to catch a quick flight back to this podcast, so yeah.
No, I'm on the same boat with Matt. Like I always say, I'm gonna watch New Japan, but I never do. But with retirement matches, I'm that side that believes the person that's retiring should lose.
Okay.
I think that like retirement matches are almost like passing of the torch moments, you know. So I think the person retiring should be the one that loses. Like sort of a different topic, I guess. But with Steen winning, I heard about that, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. You said he retired as tag team champions. I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like, was it you said it was for the championship?
Yeah, him and Darby retired with the tag titles, and I believe Darby vacated the tag titles after that instead of finding a replacement partner.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, to be honest. And then, like, the thing with winner takes all, that's for multiple championships, you said?
Yes. So this one would be the world heavyweight and the global head, which is essentially like their intercontinental title.
Right.
Entirely separate match. It's not in this match. It's a different match on the card.
No, that's what I thought, obviously. But, like, when it comes to wrestlers having multiple championships, I think it can work sometimes. But, like, what's her name now? Maurice Monet? She has like 15 championships on her. That's crazy to me. But like 2 championships isn't too bad. Like WWE's done that and made it work. But yeah, that is kind of crazy to me too.
I think that when it comes to like a Mercedes Moné, the reason she has so many championships is because she's doing it with like different independent companies. So if you're a big attraction in like say like Salt Lake City at a random bingo hall is like she's like your top women's champion, that's just going to sell more tickets because Mercedes Moné is in your city. So her winning 15 is really cool, and her winning a lot of championships is really cool. Don't know if it's actually 15, but a winner takes all, man. I'm different.
I will say for retirement matches, which we're obviously going to cover Cena's, and I do have a lot to say. I was talking to Matt earlier in the week. Like I that probably might be the most I've written for this whole podcast because I had a lot to say. I loved it. For a little like pre-spoiler there. And yeah, like title. Winner takes all. I'm like just kind of sick of it, just because like it happens like every year and all the Japanese promotions. But like someone like Mercedes Moné, I do just have to shout her. I love her to death. I think she's incredible. But moving in here, Stardom, right quick. They did have 2 shows. They were just like all the tag matches, exhibitions, whatnot. However, I do want to say that Dream Queendom 2025 is a week away. That's their big show. It's going to be on December 29th. I'll cover the full match card next week, just because everything will probably be announced then. I will say, though, they are going to be in Kurikan Hall on December 24th with the high-speed title, which will be Mei Seira versus Yuna Mizumori. That should be a banger. I'm excited. But I did want to mention also, the news broke today. Seiya Kamitani is the winner of the Most Valuable Player Award for Tokyo Sports magazine. She is the first woman ever to win that award, which is pretty fucking crazy and more than deserved. She carried Stardom in a time where, like, this year especially, they lost a lot of people. Obviously, Rosie, who was the creator of Stardom, he left to do Marigold. And they lost, Mayu Iwatani. They lost Utami. Like, all kinds of, like, their top names. So Seiya really took it into her own, and she made Stardom, honestly, dare I say, more popular than it's ever been. So I think she more than deserves it. I've been loving her red belt reign. She's my favorite in Stardom, if you couldn't tell. I love her. And yeah, she will be obviously the main event of Dream Queendom 2025. I'm going to take a guess and say that she wins. If you want a little, my prediction, I think she wins against Anu, goes into Wrestle Kingdom. I think she beats Shuri for the IWGP, and then takes that into the match with Micah whenever that happens. But yes, kind of saying the same thing. Are you guys excited for Dream Queendom 2025?
I think New Japan and Stardom having their big shows at the end of the year is really neat, because you're not having it in an April, you're not having it in a September like AEW. I consider All Out to be AEW's big show personally. So them actually like ending the calendar year with their big show, or I guess beginning the year, because I do believe that Wrestle Kingdom has happened in January or happens in January. I'm exposing myself as a wrestling fan. Oh God. Yeah. Not familiar with Stardom to this day. I'm a fake Section 103 podcast host that says I will watch it next week. But yeah, I heard Peyton's going to have a subscription, so I can start watching it soon. So I'll
slide that password over. I'm going to slide that password over. Don't you worry.
And I think Boucher shares the same sentiment as me.
I don't even know what Stardom is, man.
All right. All good. Oh, good.
That's fine.
I'm a terrible guest, but
no, you're good. I'm not gonna lie. The guest is usually on for the show highlights, so we appreciate you being here for the week of wrestling.
Yes. This is a little new for both of us. This is our first go around here. And then the last little weekend wrestling thing I did want to say, Marigold just had 2 shows with their little tag matches. But Marigold's pay-per-view First Dream is going to be January 3rd. 2026. I don't believe that's like the the main, like the big one, but yeah, between Dream Queendom, New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom, and Marigold First Dream, I'm gonna be very busy that week. I'm looking forward to it though. It's gonna be a lot of fun. However, that is in quotations the end of the weekend wrestling, because for our show coverage this week, admittedly it kind of fell to us in a case of luck. I'm not gonna lie to you. We normally pick a show to review from like the past or whatever. We were both rather busy, but also equally as fitting, it was John Cena's last match, so it's kind of appropriate to have our show be focused on this. All 3 of us watched it, so we all kind of have a lot to say here.
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
I don't even know what Saturday Night's Main Event is.
But yeah, no, we're all good on this front. We probably got a lot to say here. But as usual, I will kick it off to Matt to kind of talk about what the build up of the show, and as well his thoughts going down. So if you may.
Man, so we spoke it into the universe and we got cursed. Brandon, I don't know if you're familiar with the shows we've covered before, but they always ended with the year ending in 8. So we did a 1998 Raw, we did a 2008 Survivor Series, and a 2018 NXT Takeover. So it only is fitting that we break that with no other year ending in 8, because we are doing Saturday night's main event that was hosted in not John Cena's hometown of Boston, Massachusetts, but rather the bidding winner of Washington, D.C. The reported attendance was 19,274 minus Donald Trump. Thank God. The show
I'm very appreciative of that. I can tell you that for sure. I'm very glad.
The show was built around the retirement of a superstar who defined what it meant to be a WWE superstar. He was the Grand Slam 17-time world champion. He wore many different colored t-shirts with the same saying on almost every single one of them. He is a multi-time WrestleMania main eventer. He is Fred's father. He is John Cena himself. Yeah, great. Yeah, we're stretching the word great on this podcast, just like our Section 103 podcast ratings. This show
my heart.
Dude, I've never had a 1-star show on this podcast yet, minus one of the shows we've covered recently. This show was probably the most anticipated Saturday night's main event show ever. Again, I am only 26 years old. I was not around for the original Saturday night's main event, so maybe there was some that were more highly anticipated. But this is John Cena's retirement show, so I'm going to say that it's the most anticipated C-level pay-per-view. Brandon and I were both at John Cena's retirement announcement at Money in the Bank in 2024 in Toronto. And he declared at that show that 2025 was going to be his final year. And I was like, that's okay. We get another year and a half of Cena. Man, we're already past that. Time absolutely flies.
Went by so fast, man. So fast.
So
I feel like I took
fast.
the whole tour for granted. It's insane, man.
I don't know if we took the tour for granted or like the tour just wasn't like what anybody would have like wrote themselves if they were in that position. I've listened to a lot of John Cena podcasts. Like he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and quick side note on that is an actual, and I hate using this word against him because I love John Cena. That was such an authentic John Cena. He wasn't Mr. like public speaker, only giving the right answers. He wasn't Mr. like perfect when in these conversations, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the John Cena interview. He has such a particular way about presenting himself that he actually pulled the curtain back on Joe Rogan and just spoke as himself. It's a 2-hour podcast. I highly recommend it. Before we get into the show and I go into the first match, are you guys familiar with like how John Cena carries himself on any podcast?
Yes. He's always wearing like these crazy suits. He answers the questions like a politician. But Joe Rogan, he was saying "fuck," and I was like,
"Dude,
oh my God.
I was like 3 minutes in, I'm in." But I think that Cena being retired is it's tricky because in the moment right now, I don't feel it. When he retired on Saturday, it didn't really like kick in for me or anything. I think it's going to be like the random year from now. I'm like, oh, Cena hasn't fought this year. Oh yeah, he's retired. But no matter what your opinion is on his final year, the one thing we all had in common as wrestling fans, that this go home for Cena was officially the go home to end our childhoods. As men in our early to mid 20s, we should not be holding on to our childhood still, but John Cena really did close the book on that. The opening match, which I also want to say John Cena really emphasizing that this was a non-canon WWE show. It was more of an NXT showcase. Could not be any further from the truth, as our opening match was Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi. It was NXT champion versus WWE undisputed champion. And my thoughts on this match was genuinely a really good showing for Obafemi. Cody Rhodes bumped his ass off. Obafemi, as Boucher and I mentioned at the beginning of this, the crowd knowing his thing, the crowd knowing the who, was just fucking so good. I think that when the crowd knows what your kind of gimmick is, what the reaction or the interaction is with your entrance, you're just in for a superstar, you're in for a megastar. The only thing the reason I said that Cena lied to us about this being non-canon is that WWE booked themselves into a corner. They didn't want to be experimental and have Cody Rhodes lose. They had a Drew McIntyre interference, and god damn, they didn't need to do that. Cody having his shoulders on the mat against Oba wouldn't have hurt him. Boucher, throwing it over to you. What did you think of this opening match?
You know, I thought the match was fucking fantastic. I was watching it with my roommates, and they haven't watched WWE in forever, and the other one hasn't watched it like at all. But I was saying to them as Oba was coming out, I was like, this is the guy to watch. I've only watched 2 of his matches, but this is the guy to watch tonight. Like, I would say it, and like, never mind. I was going to say like that match would have stolen the show, but I was going to give that to Sol Ruka. I think that's her name.
Yes, sir.
But like I didn't think Cody Rhodes was gonna lose that match. But at the same time, I didn't think Oba was gonna lose either. But when Drew McIntyre interfered, it made me so mad. Like, it almost ruined it for me because like they didn't need to do that. Like I haven't been a fan of Drew McIntyre since his NXT run, and every time he's on my screen, I just get mad. Like, he just ruins it for me. But yeah, no, I thought it was a great match until Drew came out.
What about my friend in the middle of my screen, Mr. Peyton himself?
For me, I thought that if there was a way to showcase Obafemi this was almost the way to do it. They were like 95% of the way there. You could really feel like the excitement and the energy in the air for the event. And it kicked off with a bang with this match. Like even in the entrances, like how you mentioned, everyone doing Oba's entrance, obviously Cody's little whoa, like it's all, you felt it in the air. The match again, I thought was very good. I think they had, I don't want to say surprising because obviously Cody's great. Oba, I think the world is learning, especially with this show tonight. Or, sorry, not tonight. You get what I'm saying. With the showing that he had, like, the world's learning that he's great. They presented Oba exactly how he should have been, this dominant powerhouse. He had a counter for pretty much everything Cody threw at him. And he was honestly gearing up to beat Cody. Like, he was kind of beating his ass, but they were really like getting it going, and then Drew showed up. I am maybe not mad at Drew McIntyre, like our friend is here, but I did used to really like Drew McIntyre. Obviously, he had when he first debuted, the Chosen One, that amazing theme song, and then he gets released. He works the Indies as a demon, comes back. NXT. I kind of blurred on his NXT run. Like I always forget that he had it. Like he won the title, so I don't really know how. But and then main roster, and he's just shot to the moon, deservingly. Like the title reign was great. The stuff with Dolph Ziggler was great. I loved their tag team so much. But then like ever since the pandemic. And like the thing with Roman Reigns, he's just kind of like man to me now. He's getting a little boring and old. Like he's whined, all the time, which it's wrestling, like of course, but like it's not that serious. But no, it's just disappointing that he's in the direction he is now. And it was also disappointing that he interfered with the match and caused no contest. I agree with Matt in that Oba should have won. I don't think Cody would have lost anything. I had this like whole vision idea in my mind of like how they should go about this is having Cena lose, obviously. The show kicks off with Oba beating Cody, and it's in like this period of time where like WWE doesn't have a hero. Like that is a fucking layup of a story. Like you can just make that so easy. And then, like, so you'd have Gunther at the top, you have Obafemi coming in, he's at the top, you have all the bad guys, whatever, winning, and then you assemble, like, this team of superstars. It can be, like, Cody, CM Punk leading the way. You have new faces like Carmelo Hayes you can build up. Whoever beats, Oba, whoever beats Gunther, they're big and made. Like, it was a layup. Obviously, I don't like to project what my ideas of a good story is, just because I'm one of those people that's like you take what it is and view it as that, because then if you don't, you'll lead yourself to disappointment. But it would have been the perfect start to that had Oba won. But regardless, it thankfully doesn't hurt Obafemi at all. It's just kind of like a dud ending. And they both beat up Drew McIntyre. It just would have been nice to have seen him go all the way and really make Oba tonight or on Saturday.
Agreed. I agree with that. This next match definitely made up for the opening contest because we had Sol Ruka taking on Bayley. And man, I'm trying to make this comparison in my head make sense because Bayley is still semi-young in her career, I'd say, compared to a Miz. But we are taking for granted Bayley right now while she's around. She just wants nothing but success for any female who steps in the ring. The weekend prior, I think it's called Lodestone, where she just started that women's academy for female wrestling, which was really fucking awesome. And you could tell right then and there, this was just a Lodestone showcase match because Sol Ruka beat Bayley. I really, 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 really enjoy that when a wrestler can't like stay in character with their emotions and they're smiling, other than Cena tapping out later, but we'll get to that. But she absolutely had the biggest smile on her face when Sol Ruka won. It was an incredible showcase for Sol Ruka. She was hitting some dives over that top rope like no tomorrow. Her finisher that I say she'll do for another 2 years before she gets back surgery. I'm enjoying it while it's here now. The Zarya pairing at ringside was cool. The Lyra at ringside for Bayley was a nice touch. All in all, this really did represent women's wrestling in WWE for how good it can be. I think nothing but the world, if that's the proper way of saying it, for both Bayley and Sol Ruca. I think something about Sol Ruca that's really neat is like there hasn't been like a character like her to like a lot. Maybe I'm blanking, but I can't name someone who had a very similar style or gimmick. Maybe if you're going to compare eras, Sol Ruca can, no, I'm not even gonna make that comparison. I was gonna say maybe she can be like the ultimate PG version of like an Ashley Massaro, who was like the punk rock chick, but Sol Ruca is more like soul surf wave, but like they both have that really like cool girl energy, which I really enjoy. I so far match of the night for me is this match. What about you, Boucher?
You know, it's funny because when the match was starting, I said to my buddies, I was like, "This is the bathroom break already." Like,
come on, get out
of here!
Hang
on. Because I wasn't familiar with Sol Ruca. This was the first match I watched of her. I've never really been behind Bayley. Like, I appreciate what she has to offer for professional wrestling, but I've never personally really been behind her. But man, if John Cena wasn't retiring, that would have stole the show. Like, Sol Ruca's performance was fucking insane. Like, she was just crazy. Like, it was insane. Like, my one roommate was on his phone the entire time, but my other roommate, he was actually like invested into it because he's never watched it, but he was like flipping shit. Like, he was jumping around, he was going crazy. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was really good. And you could tell, like, she was just soaking it all in. She was really happy to be there. I thought it was a great match all around.
Peyton, I hope this was not a bathroom break for you because you are a women's wrestling avid.
I am a women's wrestling advocate. I will put my hands on that for sure. I am definitely a fan, and I agree with both of you though. This was a great showing by both girls for me. Bayley is somebody I think the world of. Truly, I think she's beautiful in every way, a true staple of women's wrestling. I am lucky that girls like her and Mercedes and like people like that they came in at a pivotal time and like really changed the perspective of women's wrestling. Obviously, again, like with things like Stardom I mentioned earlier, those were around for a little bit, but at least in America, I will say, like, again, girls like Bayley and Mercedes, all of them really helped it. So if it's not clear, I love Bayley. She was at the event, the Salt Lake Saturday night main event. She was the little pre-show with Raquel. I was so happy to see her because, again, I adore Bayley. Sol, on the other hand, same boat. I think the world of her as well. I think she's easily one of, if not the most exciting prospect WWE has, regardless of gender. She has everything, and even better, they gave her the win. And I think it was really important to have this match for people like Boucher and like his friends who weren't super familiar. This was the perfect way to showcase Sol. Like every high spot she did, the handstands, the reversals, the Soul Snatcher. Like this is what John Cena wanted, the match, the whole show to be. And I think it does that perfectly, to get people who aren't familiar, and then you want to tune in because you're like, holy shit, this girl's like cool as hell, or like Oba's cool, or the next people we're going to be talking about. I thought Bayley was the perfect opponent as somebody who's as selfless and understanding and wants the betterment of women's wrestling with things like Lodestone as an example. Like Bayley, I think that was the perfect opponent. Of course, I do wish Bayley always gets better. I think she should be a world champion right now. But yeah, highlighted all of Sol's spots. She sold the Soul Snatcher beautifully, the finisher there. Quick side note, was a really big fan of Bayley's little makeshift gear, tribute to John Cena, his little first, the Ruthless Aggression gear. Apparently it was all thrown together in a day too. Like I guess her gear had gotten lost or was stuck in transit or something. She hit up the seamstress and they came up with that. I thought it was awesome. My only gripe with the match was that it didn't go on long enough. I think that should have been like a 15-minute. the show didn't like. I guess the Saturday night main events because they're on NBC, at least over here in America. They're kind of locked to that 2-hour time slot. This one wasn't. It was like a pay-per-view, so they could have went as long as they wanted, and unfortunately, it was not the case. But after the match, quick thing, Bailey, Lyra, Sol, and Zarya all did a sweet little tribute to John Cena with the salute and the "You Can't See Me," which I thought was really cool. But I was a big fan.
I think that match definitely would be one of the matches you show if you want to get somebody into women's wrestling, whether it's Boucher realizing they're not women's bathroom break matches, or it's to show people who've never watched wrestling. This next match, I'm just totally kidding with you. This next match, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee took on Leon Slater and Javon Evans in your third and final NXT versus WWE showcase. I did not see it. Maybe it happened at the beginning, but AJ Styles was without his WWE Tag Team Championship on the way to the ring or in the ring. I don't know when he lost it, but
yeah, they just magically had it at the end of the match.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I thought that this match, just like all of Leon Slater and Javon Evans' previous matches, it is that, wow, you guys are not believing what you're seeing right now. Leon Slater getting his match with AJ Styles that was teased earlier this year at Slammiversary, where Leon Slater, I think, was going to face AJ Styles in a TNA match before the end of the year. I'm very happy that he got that match. Leon Slater, I know you guys probably read it online, a true 21-year-old veteran already. When AJ Styles slipped with the phenomenal forearm and Leon went right for the cover to kind of make people go like, oh, it was planned. Oh, maybe it wasn't. Regardless, Leon stayed on top of it. He was sharp skilled. A lot of cool moves going on there. My gripe with this match myself was that it was shorter than anticipated. I think that you could have had Dragon Lee doing a lot more offense for him and AJ's team to really showcase that this is also like relatively an early start for Dragon Lee's WWE career as well, where AJ Styles could have just been like the quote unquote attraction for like the old heads who want to see AJ Styles on John Cena's final pay-per-view. And I really think that this time next year, we're either going to see Javon Evans be Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion, or maybe him and Leon Slater win a WWE Tag Team Championship, just because that duo has struck gold. And quick side note to my side note, the TNA X Division Championship was on John Cena's final show because Leon Slater represented that title loud and proud. Peyton, I'm throwing it over to you. What did you think of this tag match?
Yes, as crazy as it sounds, this match was 6 minutes long. It was like 6 and some change. But watching it, it didn't feel like that, and I do actually mean that in the best way. It was just fast-paced from the get-go with Javon Evans and Leon Slater. All four of them had a lot of fun chemistry together, and at least in the case of... actually, I would say both of them. Both the team of Styles and Dragon Lee and Leon Slater and Javon Evans. They're quickly becoming like my favorite makeshift tag teams there. Javon, we all know, is spectacular and just special. Leon Slater, for me, though, he took the match for me. Me and TNA have always been kind of a little weird. I'm not like super... I don't watch TNA. I don't cover it here just because I'm like, I don't care. But... X Division, whenever I tune in, like I'll tune in for Slammiversary or I'll tune in for like, any like big show. X Division matches always take the cake, whether it was, a guy like Leon Slater in this case or, anybody else who's held that title. Ace Austin, like great stuff. And yeah, Leon Slater's a pro. He came out to like almost no reaction and wound up getting all of the reaction in the match, which was awesome.
I noticed that too.
450 is just, it's gorgeous. And to go on both of your points, I am happy that he got a match with AJ Styles, and he was also a total pro with that little slip-up spot going for the pin there. I hate to be, one of those guys, like tribalisty, but I do hope WWE signs him. I think he would be a phenomenal signing there. Of course, you got, again, Javon's great, Leon's great. AJ Styles, we all know, is phenomenal, so to say. And Dragon Lee is always going to have my heart, not to, my little neckbeard section of the week. He was a killer, and I mean killer in New Japan. When he was Ryu Lee, and I mean, he was Dragon Lee too. He kind of like switched names. He was phenomenal. Like his matches with Will Ospreay, Hiromu, great shit. And then, of course, all four of them had another sweet tribute to John Cena at the end with the salute and the "You Can't See Me." But Boucher, passing it to you. What did you think of this match?
Oh, I loved it as well. I had no idea it was 6 minutes. Like, that was a real shock hearing you say that, because like it did feel a lot longer because of how good it was. Didn't know AJ Styles was tag team champion until this match. Like, that was a big surprise to me.
It didn't help that he didn't have the title.
No, exactly. Like, I was so confused. Like, I remember texting Matt too, being like, "Wait, he's tag team champion, but he doesn't have, like, what the fuck's going on?" But no, and then like what I really like about this show in particular is I was showcasing so many of like the up and comers and giving them this big stage in front of so many people. Like Leon Slater, he's from TNA. He's 21 years old and he's already on this massive stage. It's a great sign for him, and I thought he was the best part of the match. Like, specifically, and I think it was him. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna hate myself for this, but the move he did over the turnbuckle when he was
in the corner,
I thought like that was insane. I thought that was so cool. And learning, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say Kurt Angle's holy shit.
And learning that he was like training for professional wrestling since he was a child just shows like he has a bright future ahead of him, and I think he really showcased it. I thought it was a great match. I think AJ Styles needs to remember to bring his championships with him from now on. But like, and like Javon Evans, like I'm more familiar with him than I am with like Dragon Lee and such, because of I watch his matches and such, and he was fantastic as well too. Like, he's always entertaining to watch. Like, he'll never have a boring match in my opinion. I don't think he'll ever have a boring match.
AJ Styles, especially with that conversation that John Cena was discussing, I think it was on the Chris Van Vliet podcast last week, where Cena's like, you should have something similar to what I'm doing, like a retirement tour. And AJ Styles pretty much just told Cena straight up, he's like, I'm on mine. Like, I'm already in the middle of it. Because AJ Styles is just like Cena, very self-aware of what he can do in the ring and what he can't do in the ring. And you never want to see a wrestler's like confidence diminish in the ring, because you just won't get like who you paid for to see. So I do think maybe this time next year we'll be talking about AJ Styles in the past tense, especially with a lot of how he's been going to like cities saying this will be the last time you see me. AJ Styles will forever be a top 10 to me, and just him paired with these three still gave you that generic crowd chant. You still got it, because motherfucker does that man still have it.
He did botch that phenomenal forearm though.
I don't know, man. Leon was right on top. This next part, I was genuinely just going to pass on by, but as I was kind of thinking about it, I had hope that this was going to be something bigger than it was. The Miz doing his little Seth Rollins NXT takeover. This is a takeover, right? But it's the Miz's own version, with him being in the ring in the WrestleMania 2011 jacket that he wore against Cena in Atlanta, Georgia. I knew it right away. My girlfriend Danielle was not surprised that I knew that was the jacket right away. I will go get help because I know too much about wrestling attires. Man, I don't like Joe Hendry. Peyton, what are your thoughts?
Really? Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. My thoughts are, I mean, it was all right, but the actual, I will say the entrance jacket and the ring gear was cool. Surprised it fit, honestly, because the Miz has definitely gotten bigger in years, like muscle wise. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was cute. Like, I mean, again, it's all right. But having the Miz and R-Truth, two people kind of synonymous with Cena in later years, at least getting like some kind of show on the last show, like it's cute. And Joe Hendry, I mean, that's crazy that I think he's I don't want to say cool, but I think he's a good time. I'm not like I'm not gonna shoot for Joe Hendry personally, but if he's on my screen, I don't get bothered. I'll do the chants and the wave and all that cool stuff. But that's what I think about Joe Hendry and the whole segment as a whole. To answer your question, I thought it was alright. It was cute.
Boucher.
Loved it. But no, it's funny too because when they were like, when it was still like Stephanie McMahon and the other fella at that table, I remember texting Matt because I saw Miz pacing back and forth in his jacket. And I was like, no way, Gunther got a commercial entrance. I was like, that
Could
makes
you
no
imagine?
sense.
I honestly thought that too. I did think that too.
I was like, that makes no sense. But then when I saw like when he yelled awesome and I saw the jacket, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But the biggest disappointment about it was Joe Hendry. I love Joe Hendry so much, but like, with how they were doing the tournament and with how Miz was acting, with how he was talking, I was like, okay, maybe he's getting a push, maybe something's happening. And the way he was talking in the ring as well, I was like, okay, something's happening, something's coming. And then R-Truth comes out, Joe Hendry shows up, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing, WWE? Like,
Yeah.
But they, like, my roommates who like they haven't watched it or haven't watched it in a long time, they saw Joe Hendry and they were laughing their ass off. They thought it was a great time, which again, for a casual viewer, Joe Hendry could be, hilarious. I know Matt doesn't like him for some reason, but going off on that as well, like anytime Joe Hendry's on my screen for a segment, I'll watch, but for a match, like I might skip, But yeah, no, I thought this segment was cool until Joe Hendry beat him up.
There's a saying, it's called aces in their places, and Joe Hendry is the living definition of that fucking saying. I can appreciate that somebody has scratched and clawed from What Culture Pro Wrestling,
yes.
the 2010s, that he really, I'm not diminishing any of his work. Like, I promise you, that's not the reason I don't like him. I think that the work he put in is truly actually like inspirational for a professional wrestler. Like, Joe Hendry scratched and clawed to be where he is right now. Wish nothing but success for that man. There's just nothing to it for me anymore. I don't know. There's just something that I'm just like, the spin is this thing, yes, and I know like the crowd just absolutely freaks out. I'm with Ethan Page when he's in character. He's nothing more than a catchphrase and a spin. And now we're gonna head into the main event. And for the main event segment, Boucher, putting you on the spot because you are our guest, you are going to kick it off and tell the Section 103 listeners what we're getting into.
So, main event, we had John Cena having his very last match in WWE against Gunther, who won the John Cena retirement tournament. He won the tournament, beat LA Knight, thus he became his last opponent. I thought it was a good match. As soon as Cena smiled when he was in the chokehold, I was like, that's it. And I was even telling my buddies, I was like, Cena's losing this match. Like, it's tradition. John Cena's very old school when it comes with it. John Cena's going to lose. Taps out. Wasn't expecting him to tap out. I thought he was going to pass out. I thought that's how the match was going to end. I was really mad about him tapping out at first, but I've kind of like thought it out and kind of like had my own take on it, which we can probably get to later. I also had this thought that John Cena was almost wrestling like in his prime. I don't really think he was now that I look back at it, but like I think John Cena did great. He loved every moment of it. He wasn't taking it for granted. Like the moment he came out when his music hit, like he was just having a good time, soaking it all in. He was very happy. He was a very happy guy. And it was crazy too because I've hated John Cena my entire childhood. I've hated John Cena. Like every time he was on my screen, I was booing him. Like every single time, I hated John Cena, and it was mostly just because like I thought he was very generic. Like if you like John Cena, you probably spice your chicken with salt and pepper, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ayo.
And then like as I grew older, I started getting more appreciative and started actually liking him. Like when we were at Money in the Bank and he announced his retirement, I was heartbroken. Like I couldn't believe it. And then like the day before like Friday, I was just a wreck. All I was seeing was like edits on my TikTok and Instagram, and I couldn't stop crying. Friday, I could not fucking stop crying, man. Like it was fucking brutal.
I got so many Snapchats of this guy. You have no idea.
Like it was so bad. Like the moment his music hit, I was gone. Like I couldn't stop crying for Saturday. I couldn't stop. And then like, you know, John Cena taps out. They show that video, and I fucking start crying again. But all in all, like I thought it was a great match. I think this alone has cemented Gunther to be the best heel this industry has ever seen, and he knows it. Like with what we saw of him on Monday night, he knows he will never have a single person cheer for him ever again, and he loves it. And I also think that because of this, he's already a Hall of Famer. He's already at that level. There's no doubt about it. And then I thought he was great. First half of the match, like I saw someone say like there were two matches in this match where the first half was like a regular brawl going at each other, and then the second match was the chokehold and Cena trying to get out, but then eventually tapping. But I thought it was great personally. I'm not mad about it.
I'm gonna dive into that after we throw it to Peyton in a quick second. I think that John Cena's final match, I think the entrance is a part of the match because it just felt like a moment. And like I was trying to live every single second of the moments to the ring. I'm so glad that he did the every hug at ringside to Eve too, which was really cool to see. That Kevin Owens hug got me very emotional because Kevin Owens, I love that man. Kurt Angle, Elijah, Sami Zayn, Sammy's kid, Rob Van Dam, Trish Stratus, everybody at ringside. Lillian Garcia calling his final match. I have thoughts about in terms of the ring announcing. I think that for early 2000s, John Cena, Lillian Garcia is definitely the right person to call it. I just have so many what if scenarios. If it would have been maybe a Tony Chimel, maybe like who else we got?
Justin Roberts.
Could you imagine a Justin Roberts? Oh my goodness. AEW wouldn't I shouldn't say that because AEW would. AEW and WWE didn't work for Edge, so they would not work for Justin Roberts. Peyton, before I get into my thoughts, what did you think of Cena's last match?
All right. Excuse the tangent I'm about to go on, but I thought it was a fucking masterpiece. Actually, I'm in that camp. Quick note on I did not write that, and that was the one thing I didn't write was the ring announcer. I'm fine with Lillian Garcia doing it, although I think it would have been cool. Why can't I think of his name? The guy who was doing when he was in his 17th title reign, the Never Seen 17.
Yes, sir.
I'm spacing on his name, but I thought that would have been dope, but. I guess he had already had his last. But anyways, no. I thought, God, yeah, I loved it. So there was talk about, who should have been Cena's last opponent. That was the whole thing. Even on Section 103 podcast, we had our own scuffles about it. Wasn't a scuffle, we didn't fight, but
it was a mutual decision.
It was mutual. But,
I thought it was crazy you said Javon Evans sorry, I thought that was crazy.
Matt threw around Javon Evans, he threw around Obafemi, I believe. I thought maybe if you wanted to go veteran route, Sheamus or Carmelo Hayes. But the one that always made the most sense to me, those were just kind of wishful thinking. The one that always made the most sense to me, and in my mind was the correct choice, was Gunther. And I think that this match was why. If you want to go back to Monday, the promo, it's as simple as that. Just the story, it didn't have to be a grandiose thing. It's just I'm going to make him tap out. The guy who never gives up, he's going to give up. From when the music hit to when the tap out occurred, it was poetic. Again, the results have been mixed. I'm sure we've all seen on Twitter and Instagram, TikToks, how everybody's feeling. Everyone's, mad or happy. To me, it was 100% the correct call, and dare I say, it was perfect. The match itself, I thought was pretty good. Was it on the level of Cena's match with maybe like if we're going off of this year's run with Cody Rhodes or who else would he face this year that I thought was AJ Styles?
Orton had a good match too.
Who had a good match? Sorry,
Orton. I think the Orton match at Backlash was pretty good.
That was a pretty good one. But like, was it on the level of like that or Rhodes at SummerSlam or AJ Styles? Maybe not necessarily. Was it on the level of any of Gunther's many classics, like the match with Tyler Bate at TakeOver? No, but I don't think it needed to be. In doing so, it enhanced it. It was a beatdown. It was watching. Your childhood hero, the Super Cena, never give up, giving up. That was fading away. That was the story. And it's very rare that I prefer a story over, in-ring action. Obviously, my Japanese wrestling fandom is a good example of that. I love my in-ring work over a story usually, but I'm also a sucker for a good story. I script my videos. I think that I can appreciate some good writing, and I thought this was one of them. And not at all to discredit the match. Like, I don't want to take it as like I thought it was bad. Like, it was good. It is impossible to have a bad match with Gunther. It really is. But it was the story element that sold it. In simple words, the man who never gave up learned to accept failure. And I think that's the most beautiful way to put it. Cena had all of his classic Super Cena moments, the random counters into the 5 moves of doom, the AAs and whatnot, the 5-knuckle shuffle, never giving up on submissions, overpowering the odds, but it wasn't enough. Gunther is the now and was too dominant for a John Cena that was fading. This isn't the John Cena of the late 2000s or the mid 2010s. Honestly, to me, I took it this was a human John Cena who accepted that the end was near. He gave everything that he had to try and escape Gunther's holds, but he had to give in, and for the first time in 20 years, he tapped out. If you want to be extremely nitpicky, if you're really scratching at odds here, maybe Cena passing out instead of tapping maybe could have been better, or maybe if he was bleeding buckets or something like that, make it like a crazy visual, that would have been cool. But I think that the visual of his face accepting defeat, the one last smile to the crowd, if he hit like a I'm sorry, like how Shawn Michaels did to Ric Flair, that would have been like, fuck, I would have started crying. But no, and then him tapping, I thought was the best way to go out, because again, it hadn't been tapped out in 20 years. Like, that is the ultimate thing of the guy who never gives up, learning to accept failure. I thought it was beautiful. And another beautiful thing, the end, obviously, he taps, crowd's dead silent. Gunther's Symphony 9 playing in the background, just great. And, he's, selling it, I mean, he knew he was going to beat him. He was talking about, yeah, I'm going to beat him. But he was tapped it, for sure, he did that. Excellent. As for Gunther, I will say, again, this was quite the tangent. I had a lot to say here. I think this was why he was the right choice. Obviously, he is one of my favorite wrestlers right now, and maybe I'd put him in an all-time. I adored him when he was Walter. He had those matches with Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Dragunov. I've adored what he's done on the main roster, the IC title reign, all that. But my bias aside, he was the choice because of the character. Not that he's a character guy per se, say a Jey Uso or a catchphrase guy, anything. Sorry,
don't say that.
Sorry, I saw your eyes got a little wide there. My bad. But yeah, no. Gunther. The thing with Gunther, I was talking to one of my friends who actually was interested in maybe being on here in the future. So maybe we'll get that to happen. But I was talking with him, and he was just kind of he was like, oh, I wanted say Braun Breaker. So I'll use him as the example here. Because he was like, I think Gunther was a terrible choice. And I was super curious on that. To me, if you use a guy like Braun Breaker as an example, I think that would not have been the right choice. Obviously, you're building the next guy, which is great. But he has a thing where, you can kind of slot him as a babyface, you can slot him as a heel or a tweener. No matter what, you were going to get booed. This is John Cena we're talking about. And this is something that, honestly, will carry on for forever, like for the rest of the career. Like you retire John Cena, you know what I mean? Gunther, he's been a bad guy for pretty much the entirety of his career. Certainly as long as I've been watching him. I started watching him in like 2017, 2016, and then like he came to NXT UK and whatnot. He's always been a bad guy the entire way through. So to me, if you were going to put anybody in there, it should have been somebody who the crowd had to hate. Like, you were obviously going to hate him, but you couldn't insert a guy like, say, a Braun Breaker or even like a Carmelo Hayes, a Von Evans, because they were going to get booed. It's John Cena. So this, to me, was perfect. I also think that, like, he was the only one that made sense. I think it also saved his career in a way. Not his career. Like, he's always going to be great and have a very successful career. But the tap out to Jey Uso was obviously a mistake. He has as easy a get back as possible here. As easy a get back here, just being like, I don't care, I tapped John Cena. If you couldn't tell here, I absolutely love this match, and I would even say it is a 5-star match. That might be a little too crazy to just kind of throw out there. I don't think it's the greatest match I've ever seen, not by a long shot, but I think for what it was stellar, and I'd honestly, I think I'd give it if we're doing like a match rating, I would give it a 5-star. To wrap it up, it was a nice tribute to Cena, both with the video package at the end, everyone coming out to send him off well. I did get a little watery-eyed, I will not lie to you. I'm sure probably all of us did. I will say, though, it is very funny how probably WWE's best show of the year came from the idea of John Cena and not its actual booker. And 2, with that man, through all of his terrible booking this year, and there has definitely been a lot, he got overwhelmingly booed for probably his only correct decision this year. Again, like people, bias, and it's John Cena. So, people are going to obviously be sad. But this was the perfect send-off to John Cena's career. Thank you, Cena, to end it off. I thought it was perfect. 5 stars.
I just like a main event, I don't think there was a follow-up. I think you did it all. I think you captured it all. I think what you said was honestly very beautiful about the match. I think you hit on all of the great points. I don't have any rebuttals. I don't have any thoughts that combat yours. Wholeheartedly, I don't have anything to go but
he literally said everything I was doing.
I didn't mean to say
no, I wanted LA Knight to win the tournament because much like the Miz, I want LA Knight to get treated a lot better. I think he could be on the same level as John Cena. Well, not on the same level as John Cena, but in terms of charisma and crowd control, LA Knight knows what he's doing. I think he's the future of the company. But no, I after watching that match, Gunther was the perfect decision to make 100% because, like you said, if you beat John Cena's retirement match, you're a heel for the rest of your career. You have no choice for that. But no, I thought I thought it was perfect as well.
If there was one thing I would change about this match, just one tiny nitpick, I really wanted a little bit of color. I just wanted a little bit of blood to really send home that Cena's going out. Cena is giving it all he has. In terms of where I would place this on Cena's retirement tour of matches he had, I would say this is probably going to hang out at the number 2 spot. There's just something so special about that Cody Rhodes match at SummerSlam that I think that was just absolutely the John Cena from the late 2010s. I would even argue maybe the 2016 Cena where he would just continuously go after AJ. He had a really great triple threat with AJ and Jon Moxley. So this Cena was definitely it was a good year for working with Cena with the opponents he was given. My favorite rivalry of the year has to be with Dominic Mysterio, because John Cena absolutely loves Dominic behind the scenes, and you can tell that in his work because he just gets fired up when he loves working with somebody. If there was something I could change from Cena's retirement year, was maybe prolong him that CM Punk feud just a little bit longer. It really felt like just your big Saudi money match that you're going to get for going to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, in terms of going to the overall thoughts and ratings of this show, my favorite match is Sol Ruka and Bayley. My least favorite match is going to be our opening contest of Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi. And then my rating for the show, I'm going to hang it out at a 3.5 out of 5, because it didn't really feel like a pay-per-view that had anything like to write home about except for those two matches. The next Saturday night's main event is in Montreal in January. I believe it is on January 24th. So maybe just like Peyton, I'll go see what one of these are all about. Boucher, what was your favorite, least favorite, and show rating?
Honestly, my favorite match was Cena's match. That might be like the basic answer to say, but I genuinely thought it was the best part of the night. I thought it was a great send-off for him. Least favorite, I would probably also say Cody Rhodes and Obafemi. I think it should have been treated a lot better with Drew McIntyre not making an appearance. I think he ruined it all. Show rating, I'd probably say 4 out of 5, because I think like the whole show was basically showcasing the future stars. And even with Cena's match, like Gunther's already like shown he's a star like way before, but it could also still be a part of that argument. 4 out of 5, I'd say. But like I would have given it a 5 if it wasn't on Saturday night's main event. I just feel like it's a weird show to have Cena's last match on. Like even like watching it, I just thought like it didn't make much sense, especially because like I remember there were rumors going around that there was going to be a whole show dedicated to just John Cena, but he did say like he didn't want that, I think. But all in all, I thought it was great, almost perfect. But no, I thought it was great.
And handing it over to the man that probably will have the best match review ever with Cena and Gunther. What was the favorite, least favorite, and show rating?
You know what, I will say quick, I do appreciate that because I do feel like you kill it with the match like analysis. So I'm glad I had a hitter in there. I will definitely say that. But as far as the my favorite match, I think it was obvious Gunther John Cena. Again, I personally think that's a 5-star match, not necessarily for like in ring, but just like the oomph of it, the story, everything, like nailed it. I'll be honest, I feel like I'm cheating with my least favorite here. I put the Miz segment. If I can't put that, then I guess I'll be in agreement with you guys on Cody and Obafemi, but I think you can give me a bone here. I'm gonna say the Miz segment. As far as my rating and like overall final thoughts, I think admittedly when I was writing what I thought about Cena and Gunther, I was a little like love bind. Like I wrote it like as soon as that match was over. So I originally gave it a 4.5. Looking back, I don't agree with that. I think a 4 though. I agree with the 4. Because there were, it was an enjoyable show from start to finish. Like, I could probably rewatch this in a year from now and still have the same enjoyment as I did when I was, like, initially watching it. It had its issues with, like, DQs and small nitpicks, so that's kind of maybe, like, I think the 4 is suitable there. You can take off that 0.5. But it was a smooth ride and a pretty rewatchable show. Again, I think in, like, a year or two from now, we could probably rewatch it and be like, damn, that was good. Gave the WWE Universe a first glance at the next generation. It solidified WWE's next major villain, and it sent off the greatest of all time's career poetically. So, 4 out of 5 for me.
Bow on top.
Yeah.
Gunther takes Saturday night's main event to retire some absolute legends. We got Bill Goldberg. We got Jonathan Felix Cena. I think Felix is his middle name. And then up next we have AJ Styles.
I do think, I think he's retiring Styles. Not to cut you off there, but I do think that's the move.
He's just gonna retire everything. Just give him all the legends. Gunther's the next legend killer, man.
I think it would be neat to see another Orton and Gunther feud revisited, especially with neither one of them having a championship, because they had that match at Bash in Berlin, which was a really good match. I really enjoyed that match. I think even if it wasn't like a Orton retirement tour, if it was most definitely like something along the lines of just two men wanting to beat the shit out of each other, or even like another Gunther and Sheamus revisited, Gunther would be the perfect man for that too. But that is future booking, and I don't rate it. I just watch it and complain about it online. Section 103 podcast listeners, you are in for a treat next time, and I tell you that because we have not chose the show yet, but just like the 3 sessions before this, and this session right here, I thank you everybody for listening. Brandon, I thank you especially for joining on a last minute you up kind of text message.
Thank you for having me.
And just like D Smith, you are invited back whenever, so please do not keep me on do not disturb. I will make sure that you get more of the you up messages. Peyton, thank you so much for that beautiful rundown of this week in wrestling. And if I can make you a promise on behalf of Boucher and myself, we will start following up with more wrestling other than what we see on Twitter.
It's hard. I don't blame you guys. I really don't blame you.
That takes passion. That is commitment right there.
And if there is any closing remarks to you guys, I am finished with everything I have to say. Somebody just has to send it home.
Jetson, I'll let you go first here.
Well, thank you for having me again. I had an absolute blast. I'm definitely going to look into Stardom, learn some about that, and New Japan. Saturday night's main event was great time. Thank you, Cena, and thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah.
Yes. I will say, of course, a little as always. If you guys want more of me, Prince Aqua on YouTube. I make video game essay videos. Pretty fire. I love me some wrestling. Shout out Seiya Kamatani. Probably my MVP just because winning that award there. Fuck SmackDown. And thank you, Cena. That's the move.
And we will catch you next week. Goodbye.